Space fam, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video and thank you for watching last two videos about NASA Europa Clipper mission. So I have an update and it's not a good one. Unfortunately, NASA decided to postpone the mission launch date because of the weather. There is a hurricane forming in down in Florida where the Space Coast is. So just to make precautions and not make sure that we are not really putting our orbiter in a risk, NASA decided to postpone the mission date. We haven't really received exactly when would be the new launch day going to be. As of now, it's not going to be this Thursday, but hopefully I will have an update maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I will let you know guys on my next video. But take a moment to watch this video. This is all about the spacecraft instrumentation. I'm going too deep into the each instrument's purpose and the goal that we are looking to achieve. I hope you guys watch the whole video and get information. So without further ado, let's get into it right away. So overall, this spacecraft have 9 different instruments installed in it and ready to be on board. And these 9 instruments have 5 of them are actually belongs to more like the remote sensing purposes, and the 4 of them are more like measuring and collecting data about the overall Europa's environment. But these 9 instruments have their own 5 categories, falls under cameras, plasma and magnetic field, chemical analyze, spectrometry, and radar gravity instrumentation. So these 9 instruments are very advanced, but each of them have their own goals and purposes to achieve. So we're going to dig deeper into each of them individually, and I'll talk to them about like what we are planning to do using these instruments likewise. So starting with cameras category, there are 2 cameras installed. One is called EIS or Europa Imaging System, and the other one is called ETHEMIS or Europa Thermal Immersion Imaging System. So EIS is actually wide angle and narrow angle camera. It's a high resolution camera. It will take clear images of Europa. And ETHEMIS is actually an infrared light based camera, and it will be taking more like the to detect like the warmer regions in Europa. And then that brings to me my next category, which is spectrometry. There are 2 instrumentations installed under spectrometry. One is called Europa UVS or Europa Ultraviolet Spectrum, which is actually will be used to detect more like to understand the chemical composition of Europa atmosphere. And the other one called MISE or MISE, which is the Mapping Imaging Spectrometer for Europa. And that is more like to understand the chemical composition on the Europa geology. So like the on the surface to detect some organic compounds like salt and to detect some dust materials, things like that using the spectrometry. And the third category is the plasma and magnetic field. There are 2 instruments installed under this category. One is called ECM, which is Europa Clipper Magnometer. And the other one is called PIMS, which is the plasma instrument for magnetic sounding. These 2 are both basically to understand the magnosphere of Europa. So here's the thing. Europa is actually trapped under Jupiter's magnetic field. So the Europa's ionosphere and plasma being trapped, and it is kind of disorient the actual data that we are planning to get. In order to avoid that scenario, NASA invented this PIMS or plasma instrument for magnetic sounding to get the correct data. But the ECM, ECM is more like to study the salinity or the how salt the ocean water of Europa is going to be, and to study like the thickness and the depth of the ocean water of Europa. Because you probably already know, but salt water or ocean water is a electric conductor. So it has a huge impact with the magnetic field of that celestial object. So by studying the magnetic field of Europa, we can understand how salty or how what are the thickness, what's the density of actual ocean water in Europe. So that's why we are sending ECM and PIMS, and that falls under the category of plasma and magnetic field. So the last 2 categories is, one of them is chemical analyze. The chemical analyze have 2 instruments installed. One is called SUDA or SUDA, and the other one called MAXPEX or mass spectrometer for planetary exploration. SUDA is actually something I'm very excited. It stands for Surface Dust Analyzer. It will the SUDA will be used when the orbiter, when the clipper orbiter is go through the one of the plume of Europa, because the plumes is actually the water particles that's been shoot out to the space from Europa, because there is so much water inside it and it cannot comprehend that much amount of energy. So the pressure is being released out and these water particles are shooting like a water fountain. So what the orbiter do is it gonna go through them and try to sniff that plumes and try to get a sample of that. And also SUDA will be analyze certain meteor impacts, because it's a moon, Europa, and it does get certain impacts. And these, when the meteorite impact, it kind of leaves some dust particles in the air. So what does the SUDA and MAXPEX is going to do is trying to collect these dust particles to get an idea about the chemical composition. So this brings to my final category, which is the radar and gravity. So here we only have one instrument and one investigation. So the instrument is called REASON, or radar for Europa assessment and sounding, ocean to near surface. And this instrument is actually ice penetrating data collector. What it do is to understand the what's the elevation and how thick the ice is, and to get a topography and geology aspect of these icy shells on Europa. That's what the recent instruments will be doing. And then there's another thing is happening under this category, which is a gravity science investigation. It is not an instrument, it's rather an investigation which we can do based on the data that we collect. So the Europa actually have a non-circular orbit around Jupiter. So what we're trying to get is trying to understand these gravity points when Europa is orbiting the Jupiter, and to see what kind of flex, like a tidal flexes, we can see based on these location or the points, location points of these Europa. So it is an investigation, like I said, it's not an instrument. By understanding that relationship between Europa and Jupiter, we can try to get an idea about that what is the internal structure look like in Europa, because the tidal flexes can tell us the internal structure of the moon or any celestial object. So I hope this video helped you to understand the instrumentation aspect of Europa Clipper mission. Hopefully it's not too advanced, but if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to reply and talk to you about it. Like I always said, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for your support, and I request you to share this video with others so they can also learn something new. And as always, appreciate for watching this video, and I will see you guys again soon with another video about NASA Europa Clipper mission. Till I see you, have a nice day. Thank you guys.